Hey guys, new video here. Clicking on chess. So is it worth it? New episode. Should you be clicking on chess? And this is pretty subjective, but I'll give you, I guess, overall thoughts on what you need to know about it, other considerations. What I've been doing is I've been running a lot of tower maps. And why have I been doing that? Well, it drops some good divination cards, notably the Wretch, which can give you a Headhunter. And then, of course, the Nurse, which is a new card that was introduced in Betrayal League. What it is 1/8 of a Doctor, so it is essentially, if you drop a Nurse, you have 1/64th of a Headhunter, okay? And so it's a very valuable card. Tower is extremely linear. It has a very high mob count, and its dark layout doesn't hurt your eyes. It's just overall a fantastic map. So what happened was I was playing towers, right? Just going through speed clearing, and two of my subscribers, they told me that chess were very OP for dropping the Nurse and for just dropping loot overall. I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean? I've never clicked on chess, right? In the past 6 years, I've never really thought about clicking on chess. And so I was like, give me your data, right? And at least one of the people was someone I trusted. And so their data was probably around like 1 in 10, 1 in 13 maps, where if you went out of your way to really pay attention to the chess and the trunks, which are on the tower, you would get a Nurse. And I was thinking, if I can get a Nurse 1 every 10 maps, 1 every 13 maps, hell, even 1 every 15 maps, right? Then maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try clicking on every chest, every trunk that I come across. Obviously, I'm gonna miss some here and there because particle effects block out your vision quite a bit these days. But I was like, yeah, let's test that out. Let's do it. So what did I do? I have a quad tab here, which had 446 towers in it. I've been running these, every single one of these I ran on stream, so if you want to see raw data for these towers, you can just go to my my VODs on my Twitch, and you can see like the couple hundred runs, right? I have currently run 217 towers, okay? And that is 217 towers where I am very on top of looking for the chests and trunks. Once again, I do miss some here and there, but I get, like, I'd say 90% of them. So after running 217 of them, I was like, you know what? How many Nurses have I gotten? Well, let me just show you some raw data here. So I have gotten 43 Nurses out of 217 maps. So that's about 1 every 5 maps, let's say, okay? Now, how many of these 43 Nurses were from chess? 2 of them. 2 of these Nurses were from chess out of 217 maps. So that's the data right there. So it's nowhere close to the other people. Maybe they got super lucky, and so I'm actually kind of glad I did it though, because like they were saying 1 in 10, 1 in 13, and my data 2 in 217 maps is about 1 in, let's just say 109, right? 1 Nurse out of for every 109 maps of clicking on chess and trunks. Okay, is that worth it? To me, no. But it even goes deeper than that of why it's not worth it. It's not worth it to me. Not just because I had to do 100 maps of clicking on chess and all this stuff. There's other like factors to consider, right? So let me just pull up my paint here, and then let me try to do some like a little bit of abstract thinking. Okay, so let's say that this is the layout. So I'm playing Elementalist, right? I'm not a Pathfinder, so I don't regenerate charges by myself. So here, let's just say that this is one layout here, right? And then here is the same layout right here. Okay, I'll explain this why I'm doing this in a second here. So once again, I'm an Elemental, so I don't regain charges because I'm not a Pathfinder. What's going on with my paint here? Why is it blocking the block? Oh, here we go. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that if I hit my Quicksilver and it doesn't, and I'm out of charges, I'm not regenerating from killing the monsters, it's very detrimental to the clear speed of the build. So let's say that so these 2 blue blocks I've drawn is a hallway in the tower. Essentially, if you don't know the tower map, there are 3, I think it's like 3 or 4 levels, and each level is it's like a U-turn where it's a very straight shot hallway, like usually 3 of them, right, in like a U shape, and then you go to the next level. So let's say that this is one hallway, and this is my this is my witch right here, okay? And then once again, this is my witch right here. All right. So, and then I'll use white. So white are the chests, okay? There's a chest here, a chest here. All right, and then once again, I'm gonna do it on the same over here, right? So let's just say that these are the chests here, okay? So what happens? To put it briefly, the Quicksilver, let's say, has a maximum movement distance, okay? What do I mean by that? Let's say that if I'm a witch and I do not click on boxes, my movement is like this. Let's just say it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's say that, like, to get to the end of this hallway, once I've like cleared the mobs and everything, once in Winter's Orb is like, it like auto turrets for you. So let's just say that you have pure movement and you have a clear speed build. So to get to the end of this hallway in the map, let's say these are abstract numbers, right? You can kind of like imagine this in your head though. So I hit my Quicksilver, and then I have a few seconds to run. So I have ran 5 units, I've gotten to the end of this hallway, and maybe I can go through a door, or I can go around to the next direction. But what happens when you click on, if you click on chests? Well, let's just say you have the same thing. So first I'm going like 1, 2, and I've hit this chest, right? I click on it, and then as I'm clicking on it, I'm waiting for the loot to spew out, because it's not instant in a lot of this game. So I'm waiting for the chest. Okay, now I've waited for the chest. Now I go 3, 4, 5, right? So imagine that the Quicksilver is running, and you have a fixed unit distance. And what I mean by fixed unit distance is that the maximum possible travel time you can go on one Quicksilver press in a straight line. So now, as you can see here, what I notice is that if you are looking for the trunks and chests, I'm not even counting the time you're losing by like physically using your eyes to try to locate these chests and trunks like underneath the particle effects, right? So if you see in this diagram, once again, it's very loosey-goosey. I have expended 1 Quicksilver charge in this scenario to not even get to the end of the hallway. And now I have to use, let's just say like 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just say I have to use another Quicksilver flask to get to this box right here, right? To like get more boxes. And you can imagine with enough chests and boxes, this is multiplied. And then you add in the human aspect of finding the boxes itself, misclicks, things like this, right? And so the reason this is so important is because I noticed through like these couple hundred maps that it wasn't just like thinking about, is it worth clicking on chests for the discrete gains of, you know, nurses, wretches, and little currencies. It was slowing down the entire map on a factor where, because you roll the maps the same way and you're spending on the maps anyways, you aren't actually you do actually prefer to do more maps per hour, and I just wasn't doing that. I wasn't hitting the numbers that I could if I was a speed claim without opening chests. And then another thing about this is I can give you other numbers. So it was 2 nurses. I got 9 wretches, right? 9 wretches out of 217 maps from chests itself. So that's what's 217 divided by 9? It's like 20, 30. It's like 25 probably. So like 1 in 25 maps you get a wretch from the chest, right? It's like, it's kind of bad. And what about currencies? Well, currencies, I never got a Divine Orb, and I never got a Exalted Orb from any of these chests. And actually, I never even got a Chow's Orb. The best I got was like Alchemy, maybe like a fusing here, you know these the Glass Blowers Bauble, these like tiny currencies, and it wasn't really that often. Once again, if you want to see more raw footage, you can go to my stream VODs, and I ran every single one of these on stream. Everyone could see exactly how the build felt. Okay, and let's talk about something else in these maps when you are clicking chests, right? So in this diagram right here, right? So let's say you have like a Quicksilver, you know, your little Quicksilver flask right here, right? It only has 2 charges, right? Like 1, 2, and this is important because if you look at the diagram on the right, this is number 1 and this is number 2. If you look at diagram number 2, what you're gonna see is, imagine that you use both your Quicksilver flasks overall in a layout to hit chests and trunks and things like this, and now you are out of Quicksilver charges. Once again, I'm not a Pathfinder, I'm not regenning, and I don't have that natural move speed. So now, not only have I wasted time clicking on these chests, I've also lost the charges to get to the next map, okay? Well, I guess like in this case, I'm using Queen of the Forest, I'm using Stibnite, Jade, and other stuff, but let's not talk about that. Okay, so I no longer have the Quicksilver Flask. I need to find another pack of monsters to refill my Quicksilver Flask, and to get to that next pack of monsters on average was much slower. It was like okay, even without the temp chains mod on the map, given that you have a warding flask and you run out of that, even without the temp chains mod, it felt like molasses getting to the next pack without my Quicksilver, right? Whereas it's compounded because this guy on the left side in diagram number 1, this guy who's running straight past the chest, and you know how like I've always said you should always be looking at the edge of your screen when you're speed clearing, because you can see things come into view and see where all the next packs are and stuff. Well, this guy is easier to find the next pack, and he's faster in the direct line of travel to that next pack. So in diagram number 1, you are very rarely out of Quicksilver charges. This is very rare, because the faster you can get to the next pack, the less charges wasted, the faster you are gaining charges. So the emptiness of your flask is another thing to consider when doing these things. Now, something I should have done is I should have tracked the total time spent running. But when you're streaming, you're talking to the chat, you have like natural breaks and natural pauses. Anyways, it didn't seem that efficient, but I should have done that. And maybe I will do that in the future off stream, so that's much more of a true like a vacuum. It's an environment like in a vacuum, right? But maybe that could be for another video. So overall, with these things considered, I would say the data and the feeling, which is more important, makes it not worth. So is it worth clicking chests in the tower especially, and maybe in other maps too? I don't think so. I don't think that it's worth it at all. And something else I have to say is that, you know, if you were going to consider clicking chests, let's say like you're like, hey, 2 nurses out of 200 maps, I'd like 2 nurses. Sure, I like that, like what, 300C or something? Well, let me throw some other considerations which might make it a little bit better. If you are a slow build, it is more worth to click on chests, and if you are a magic find, it is more worth it to click chests. Now, why is that? Let's take scenario number 1. If you're a super duper slow build, okay, it is actually worth it because, like, let's say you move like this. You see how my character is moving right now? Okay, like let's say you're like a build that's like this through maps, okay, for some reason, or you're leap slamming and you're shield charging whirling blades, and you're just like really bad at your click accuracy and stuff, and you don't hold it down left click and stuff like that. Okay, well, in this scenario, it is better because imagine it takes me in just some crazy world. Imagine it takes me 4 seconds. Okay, let me just use better numbers. Sorry. Let's say in a scenario it takes me 10 seconds to clear a map. I know this is pretty crazy, but just bear with me. And you spend 5 seconds clicking all the chests in that 10-second map. Now, what does that mean? That means that essentially 1/3, so 5 plus 10, right, for a total of 15 seconds to clear the map. 1/3 of your map was spent clicking chests, right? You're like, ugh, and then I've already said the returns aren't that good. Now, let's say you are super duper slow, okay, and you are a non-movement speed, you know, temp chains on yourself without like Zerpies or anything, and it takes you 100 seconds to clear the map, right? But it still takes you 5 seconds to open the chest for some reason, okay? In this scenario, what do we have? You only have 5% of your time in the map spent clicking chests. You see what I'm saying here? So the slower your build is, and the more of a casual player, you know, you don't care about the clear speed meta, you know, just play whatever the hell you want, which is the correct way to play, by the way. Then because of the scaling, then it is not so bad. So slower the build, better it is to click on the chest if you value these good divination cards, if you value the currency drops and things like that. Of course, map drops too. I've dropped a few maps. I never dropped a T16 map from the chest. I never dropped the tower map, which is what I wanted from the chest. Hell, I don't even think I dropped a T15 map from the chest. Okay, so pretty bad. And okay, and then there's another scenario that I was talking about. So that's scenario number 1. What about Magic Find? So I'll make an entire other video about how broken Magic Find is and why I personally don't like it, and why it should be changed a little bit, and how truly OP it is. That might be in the next couple videos if you guys want to see that. Okay, that's a lot to talk about there. But how it works is, if you guys didn't know, Magic Find does not affect the chests in terms of the quantity on your player. So if I use a Wind Ripper, I use a String of Servitude 15%, I use, you know, Pariahs, things like this, Sadamas, Gold Worms, whatever. it does not affect my click on the chest. It does affect the click on the chest if you're in a party. Party bonus does affect the clicking of the chest and strong boxes, okay? But your player quant, right, does not. Yeah, I'm pretty okay. I might need to double check that. I'm 99% sure that I'm right about this. Okay, so so what does that mean? That means if I am a full-blown magic finder, which means that my player bonus is multiplicative with the map drop bonus, then it is even less worth it, because since I'm already multiplying the drops from the actual monsters killed and stuff, right? This is given I'm not in a party and stuff like this, right? Then it makes way more sense to blow through and not click on any chest. But if you have 0 magic find, right, like for example I have 0 magic find, then in this scenario it might be more worth to click on chest than if you're magic find. And then once again, if you're slower, then it's more worth that way. So these are 2 other considerations to think about when clicking on chest. Okay, so that's basically all I have to say about that. I don't think it's worth it clicking on chest, especially not even in a high value map like tower. Now let's talk about some other stuff. Now this is gonna be again, once again, a little bit tinfoil hat, right? And I believe that like the chest system might have something to do with the map, because if you think about chests in Estuary, there's so many chests, right? And I kind of think that Grinding Gear, in their like coding of the maps, in their map drop system, because they don't really release numbers on this kind of thing, it relies on player data. Don't they have to take a chest quantity and chest drops overall into the factoring of the amount of overall loot generated in the map, right? So kind of like a point system where, like, let's say Estuary has you get like 5 points per monster and then 1 point per chest, right, for the total points there. And if you don't have the chest, the points from the chest go into the points in the monster, and the monsters overall will drop more loot. This is just something abstract that I've been kind of thinking about, but maybe I'll make another video on that. This sounds like something like maybe like a Slippery Gym video would do, right, where they test out the actual chest drops on one map versus another, like tribal chest versus estuary chest versus bone chest, etc. Anyways, I might like talk about that later, but Magic Find video will be coming maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. But I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you have any questions, you can just ask me on my stream or ask me in the comments or something. Okay, thank you everyone. Bye.